In 20 plus years of ministry, there is one thing I have never gotten used to. It's the moment someone tells me, quietly, almost embarrassed, "Pastor, something protected me once, and I've never had a word for it." They lower their voice when they say it, as if it's foolish, as if a grown man or woman shouldn't admit that once, in a hospital corridor, or on a dark road, or in a kitchen at 3 in the morning, they felt they were not alone, and they were right. Breathe. God is here. I'm Pastor Robin Schwartz, and today I want to talk about your guardian angel, but not in a way that floats off into fantasy. I want to be grounded, and I want to be honest, and I'm going to lean on one of the most down-to-earth saints who ever lived when it came to this. Padre Pio, a man who bore the wounds of Christ in his hands for 50 years, who heard confessions 10 hours a day, who was investigated, doubted, tested by his own church, and who spoke about his guardian angel, the way you and I would talk about a lifelong friend who lived down the road. Padre Pio didn't treat his angel as a poem. He treated him as a person. He would send his guardian angel to people who wrote asking for prayers. He said the angel woke him in the night. There are accounts of letters arriving in languages Pio never learned, and when asked how he understood them, he'd say, simply, that his angel helped him. Now, I'm not going to stand here and swear to you which of those stories is exact history and which grew in the telling I wasn't there, and I won't dress up legend as certainty, but the heart of it. The church has always taught as plain truth. You have an angel. He was assigned to you, and he has never once left. Listen to the Lord himself. In Matthew's Gospel, Jesus says of children, "See that you do not despise one of these little ones. For I tell you that in heaven their angels always behold the face of my Father." Their angels, yours. And notice the angel is looking at the face of God and watching over you at the same time. That is what stands beside you. I'll tell you what surprises me about that verse, and I want to say it before I quote the church's teaching, because it's my own read, and you can weigh it. Jesus does not say a child gets an angel. He says the angel is already there, already gazing at the Father's face, already assigned. The relationship is older than the child's first memory. And here's what that means for you. Sitting where you are right now, at whatever age, you did not earn this angel by being good. You were given him before you could do anything at all. He was watching over you when you were a baby who couldn't say his name. And he is watching over you now, in the years when so many other people have drifted away. He is the one relationship in your life that has never once left the room. The Catechism of the Catholic Church puts it as plainly as anything the Church teaches. From infancy to death, human life is surrounded by their watchful care and intercession. Beside each believer stands an angel as protector and shepherd, leading him to life. From infancy to death, not just in emergencies, not just when you're holy enough, the whole way. That's the truth Padre Pio lived inside of. Breathe, God is here. And before we go further, let me clear away something, because I know the word angel has been dragged through a lot of nonsense in our culture. This is not about crystals, or angel numbers on a clock, or paying someone to read your angelic energy. The church has no patience for any of that, and honestly, neither do I. It takes something holy and turns it into a gimmick. A guardian angel is not a vibe. He is a real, personal, created being, pure spirit, more alive and more intelligent than you or I, appointed by God, out of love, to walk you home. That's the teaching. It's serious, it's ancient, and it's a great deal more solid than the version the world tries to sell you. So here is what I want to give you today. 3 things. Padre Pio would say that if you have even one of them, your angel is not a theory. He is with you, and he is working. Let me walk you through all 3. The first thing is this: an unexplained restraint. A moment you are about to do something, say the cutting word, send the message, make the turn, sign the paper, and something stopped you. Not a voice, not a vision, just a sudden, quiet pull in the other direction. And later you thought, thank God I didn't. Padre Pio said the angel's first work is to guard, not to dazzle, to guard. Listen to what God says in the book of Exodus, to his people in the wilderness. Behold, I send an angel before you to guard you on the way and to bring you to the place that I have prepared. To guard you on the way. That's not a one-time rescue, that's a companion for the road. Let me bring you into a kitchen. Gerald was sitting at the table 70, a retired electrician, not a sentimental man in the slightest. He told me about a night years ago, driving home tired, and how at one intersection he suddenly, for no reason he could name, lifted his foot off the gas. A truck ran the light half a second later. He said, "Pastor, I've replayed it 1,000 times. There was no reason for me to slow down. I just did. And then he said the thing that gets me every time. I never thanked anybody. I didn't know who to thank. If you've had a moment like Gerald's, a restraint you can't explain, that turned out to matter, that's the first sign. And the response the angel wants isn't fear. It's 2 words you can finally say. Thank you. Now, let me be careful here, because I don't want you to walk away thinking every hesitation you've ever felt was an angel, and I don't want you superstitious about it either. Sometimes you slow down because you're a careful driver. Sometimes, the pause is just good sense that God built into you. That's fine, that's still God's providence working through your own nature. The angel doesn't compete with your common sense. He works quietly alongside it. What Pio would tell you is not to obsess over which was which. It's to develop the habit of gratitude either way. Because a heart that says, thank you, for the near misses is a heart that stays soft, stays watchful, stays close to God. And that soft, watchful heart is exactly the kind of soul an angel can work with. Breathe. God is here. The second thing is a prompting toward prayer that isn't yours. You wake in the night, and a name is on your heart. Someone you haven't thought of in months, and you can't shake the pull to pray for them. Or you're in the middle of an ordinary day, and the sudden urge comes, go to church, light the candle, call your sister, forgive the thing you've been holding. It doesn't come from your reasoning. It arrives as a nudge. The church teaches that the guardian angel moves us not by force, but by suggestion, a holy prompting toward the good. St. Thomas Aquinas put it carefully. The angel cannot reach into your will and turn it, but he can illuminate your mind, place the good thought in front of you, and wait for you to choose it. That's why it always feels like your idea. It's meant to. The angel is not looking for credit. There's a scene in the book of Acts I love for this. Peter has been broken out of prison by an angel, and he shows up at the door of the house where the others are praying for him. A servant girl named Rhoda hears his voice and is so overjoyed she forgets to open the door. She runs and tells everyone, Peter is at the gate, and they don't believe her. They say, and this is the line, it is his angel. That was their instinct, not, you're imagining things. It is his angel. They took it as ordinary, that an angel might be near. I sat with a widow, Vivian, 66, who woke up 4 nights running with her estranged son on her heart. She didn't call him. She just prayed, each night, half asleep, Lord, wherever he is. On the 5th day he called her, out of nowhere, after 2 years of silence. Now, I want to be honest. The way I'd be honest with my own family. I can't prove her angel put that name on her heart. Maybe it was a mother's love that never sleeps. Maybe it was both. And here's what I've come to believe: you don't need to prove it. When a prompting turns you toward love, toward prayer, toward reconciliation, you don't have to run a forensic investigation on it. You just have to follow it. If you've had that a pull toward the good that you didn't manufacture, that's the second sign. And here's the part that matters most, the part Pio would press on you. The prompting is only half of it. The other half is whether you follow it. The angel can place the thought in front of you, call your sister, go to confession, forgive the debt, but he cannot make your feet move. That's yours. So many of the promptings we're given, we let evaporate. We feel the nudge to reach out, and then the day swallows it, and a year later we're standing at a funeral wishing we had. Don't waste the nudge. When the good thought comes, and you can't explain where it's from, treat it as a message, and act on it while it's fresh. That's how you cooperate with the angel God gave you. Breathe. God is here. The third thing is the hardest to describe, and the surest. A peace in the middle of fear that you did not make yourself. Everything says you should be falling apart. The diagnosis, the empty house, the phone call, the funeral, and instead, underneath the fear, there is a flaw. A steadiness that is clearly not coming from you, because you know exactly how afraid you are, and still you're held. In the book of Tobit, God sends the angel Raphael to walk beside a young man on a long and dangerous journey. For the whole trip, Raphael travels as a companion. The boy doesn't even know he's an angel. He just knows he's not walking alone. And only at the end is it revealed who has been beside him the whole way. I think that's the truest picture of the guardian angel we have. Not a rescue that shows up and vanishes. A companion who was there the entire time, and whom you'll only fully recognize at the end of the road. Breathe. God is here. Leonard told me 74, buried his wife of 50 years, that on the night she died, sitting alone in the dark of the room after, he felt what he could only call a warmth at his shoulder. He's not a man given to visions, he said. I wasn't comforted by an idea, Pastor. I was comforted by someone. And the strange gift of it was that his first instinct, in the worst hour of his life, was gratitude. Where does that come from? Grief doesn't produce thanksgiving on its own. Something else was in that room. There's a promise in the Psalms that Leonard didn't know by heart, but that his body seemed to know anyway. The angel of the Lord encamps around those who fear him and delivers them. Encamps, it's a soldier's word. It means the angel doesn't visit and leave.
Forgive me for stepping in for one moment. I don't want to interrupt. I just want to be useful. I wrote a manual for the Catholics watching this, for the families who don't know what to do when the hour of death comes. The link is in the description below. You can read the first 2 pages before you decide. Now, back to the video.
He pitches his tent around you and stays. He sets up camp. And the deliverance the psalm promises is not always deliverance from the hard thing. Sometimes Leonard's wife still dies. Sometimes the diagnosis is still true. The deliverance is that you are not crushed by it, because you are not carrying it alone. That floor underneath your fear, that steadiness that is so clearly not coming from you, that is the angel's tent, pitched around your life. And this is where I have to tell you something honest about Padre Pio, because his story protects you from a lie. Pio, the man who talked to his angel like a friend, who felt heaven so near, that same man went through long, terrible stretches where he felt nothing, where God seemed absent, where the consolation dried up completely, and he wondered if he'd been abandoned. If a saint with the wounds of Christ in his hands walked through that darkness, then you can stop measuring the nearness of your angel by how much you feel. The peace is real, even on the nights it hides. The tent is still pitched around you even when the camp goes dark. Let me pause here. I know some of you have been waiting through all 3 of these thinking, but I've never had any of that. I've prayed for a sign my whole life and gotten silence. And I will not give you a cheap answer to that, because your pain deserves better. Here is what I can tell you. The angel's presence is not measured by how much you've felt. Padre Pio himself went through years of feeling abandoned, doubting, dry. The angel doesn't leave when the feelings do. He is assigned to you, not to your good moods. You are guarded on days you feel nothing at all. That is the whole point of a guard. He works while you sleep. Breathe. God is here. So what do we do with this? Padre Pio's advice was the plainest thing in the world, and I'll give it to you as your practice this week. Talk to him, your guardian angel, not with New Age nonsense, not with numbers and signs and charms. The church has no patience for that, and neither do I. Simply, the way you'd greet an old friend. In the morning, before your feet even hit the floor, say, "Angel of God, my guardian dear, thank you for staying. Keep me close to God today." That's it. Pio spoke to his angel constantly. You can start with once a day. Some of you learned a little prayer as children and haven't said it in 50 years. Angel of God, my guardian dear, to whom God's love commits me here, ever this day, be at my side, to light and guard, to rule and guide. Say it again this week. Say it slowly, as a grown adult who has now lived long enough to know how much guarding you actually needed. You'll find it's not a child's prayer at all. It's one of the most honest things you can pray, an admission that you have never, for one single day, been able to keep yourself safe on your own. And you don't have to. That was never the arrangement. From the very beginning, God set someone beside you. And when you notice the restraint, or the prompting, or the peace, don't explain it away. Say the 2 words Gerald never got to say for 40 years. Thank you. Let me pray with you. Father in heaven, we thank you for the messengers you have set beside us. We thank you that we have never once walked alone, even in the years we felt most abandoned. For every moment we were guarded and didn't know it. For every good thought, quietly placed in our minds. For every night we were held, when we should have shattered, we say thank you. Open our eyes, Lord, not to spectacle, to presence. Help us to trust that we are watched over, guided, and loved by you and by the angel you assigned to us before we drew our first breath. Keep us close to you today, and every day, until the road is finished, and we see face to face the one who walked beside us the whole way. Amen. If even one line here was for you, leave a like. It's how this finds the next tired soul who's felt something and never had a word for it. And tell me below, have you noticed one of these 3 and never had a name for it until now? I read every comment. May the Lord bless you and keep you. May he lift up his countenance upon you and give you peace. You are seen. You are loved. You are not alone. Trust God. See you next time. Before you go, a quiet word. If anything you heard today touched a place in you that has been waiting, a parent in her final years, a child far from the faith, a soul you've been carrying for years, I wrote a manual that may help. The link is in the description below. Read 2 pages. See if it speaks to your heart. May the Lord bless you and keep you.